Who out here remembers Chuck E. Cheese? If you don't know what this place is, let me give you a quick rundown. It was the place that ran in the late 80s and early 90s that introduced a lot of the 90s kids and late 80s kids generation to the arcade cabinet video game phenomenon. It was here that I was introduced to high blood pressure and high cholesterol, where I was gorging on cheesy, greasy pizza that was absolutely delicious. And I listened to the cheap, rundown animatronics of a rat, a chicken, and a grimace-looking character. That it was some of the pinnacles of my entire childhood. It was also here that I was introduced to the phenomenon of the arcade cabinet, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, brings back so many memories. This is a part of the core beginning of the video game culture for me as a child. And as you also know, there was numerous franchises that got their own iconic arcade cabinet that symbolized the 80s and 90s to a T. But it was one notable franchise from the early 90s that I just could not put my finger on why they never received an arcade game. It was my most favorite franchise as a child before Dragon Ball Z, and that is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I cannot for the life of me understand why every time I would go to any arcade, including Chuck E. Cheese, where they just didn't have the Power Rangers. However, that is now in the past. I have gotten over it, I guess. Last year was definitely a reinauguration of the arcade classics coming back to fruition. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, grossed us with an outstanding remnants of all of our childhoods. It was such an awesome experience, and I played it from start to finish multiple times. Now, it looks like finally, after 30 years of waiting, we are finally have gotten a Power Rangers arcade game that we can play on all of our home consoles now, called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's We Ride. I have since completed this game, so I wanted to give you my true thoughts. All of them aren't positive, but the nostalgia holds true for sure. Ultimately, this was a fun title. Do not let me go through my criticisms and not forget that point. This was a very fun game to play, especially as a Power Rangers fan and as an old school arcade fan. This was right up my alley. You know, the couple of nights that I spent playing it just really kept a smile on my face throughout the majority of the experience. Now, it was definitely some frustrating aspects to it, but, you know, definitely not enough to break the core experience of the adventure. It took me about 3 hours to get through the entire adventure on easy playthrough. Let me explain why I chose to do easy playthrough. If you do it on normal mode, you get 10 continues. That means that if you lose all of your 3 lives 10 times, it's just like an old school arcade adventure. You have to start all the way back from the beginning. That is correct. I am not making that up. Listen, I'm 36. I'm somebody's dad, and I have 3 jobs. I don't got time for all that. If you do, you can dedicate your servitude to that and risk, you know, being at the very end of the game. You're on the final boss and you're on your last continue and you lose. You got to start all the way over. Hey, brother, listen, go for it, man. I don't have that in me. I'm so sorry. I don't. But that's definitely to say, if you want a challenge for yourself, and trust me, you're going to get challenged here. I mean, that is there for you. So at the start of the game, you can pick between the 5 original Rangers. I'll go ahead and say, which most people probably already know at this point, the Green Ranger is unlocked after you complete the game, but just the core 5 Rangers are available from the beginning. They all control exactly the same. That kind of sucks. I wish it was a little bit of distinguishment between the 5 of them, but no, they're pretty much all exactly the same punches, same kicks, same weapon swing, same jump attacks, same downward kick attacks. It's all the same. So, you know, really, you just go in, you just pick your favorite color. For me, that's going to be between the black and the yellow Ranger, and you just go from there. But like I said, I played a lot with the Red Ranger as well. And now the combat is very, very fun, fast-paced. There is a dodge and a counter structure within the game as well. So you never feel like you're getting attacked from both sides if it's not your fault. I feel like the fighting mechanics from the normal levels are pretty fair and fun. That's the biggest aspect here. Definitely the human fighting as you're fighting as the Rangers is fun. I do kind of wish that you would have been able to fight as their regular counterparts and then maybe transform into the Rangers in some of the levels, but no, every single level you're either playing as a Ranger or you're playing as a Zord. Now, when it comes to the differences within the stages, they do a pretty good job of making them feel different. You have your Grand Canyon rock formation level, you have your park level, which is kind of a football field, you kind of have your forest level, you got a city level, you got a industrial wasteland level, which is kind of a staple in the 90s. Don't ask me why. I feel like every arcade style beat 'em up game I played as a kid, there was always an industrial wasteland level every time. And then if we want to talk about the music, feels like the 90s, fast paced, just quick, got that rock guitar action going on, and that sprite just feels like you're right punched into the action. It just feels 90. Feels like just ready to go. Let's beat up some putties. It feels good. I also want to take note of the sprite voices as well. I feel like the developers did a stellar job of finding voices that actually sounds like the actors from the show. Tommy sounds like Jason David Frank. Kimberly sounds like Amy Jo Johnson. Billy sounds like David Yost. Rita sounds like Rita. Jason sounds like Austin St. John. They really do. They did a stellar job. Zach sounds like Walter. I mean, don't get me wrong, nobody will ever be able to replace the original cast, but it's definitely worth noting that they actually put forth some effort to replicate their voices the best that they could. Now, when it comes to back to that old school arcade style elements, there are collectibles that can be collected that can be added to your home base, which of course is the juice bar or Ernie's juice bar. If you watch the show, you know exactly what that is. Specific elements to this adventure is sometimes you have to battle these big green crystals called time disruptors. If you don't take them out within a specific time limit, then they rewind time, hence Rita's rewind. So you have to destroy them within a specific time limit. Now, we do have boss battles as well that you fight as the Rangers. These are some of the best battles in the game. Obviously, these are always a fun, just that you remember their specific countering system. You dodge, then wait for an opening and attack when you can. Super fun. It really is. They definitely do a decent job of adding variety as well. On certain levels, you'll be able to hop on our motorbike and chase down baddies and shoot them with your missile launchers from the bike. That was a great time. I didn't really have an issue with that. That was just pure unadulterated fun. Now, I've been positive all the way up until this point. Y'all know where I'm going. You know for a fact if you played this game, if you've read all the rumors, they are true. The Zord battles. Oh, it's just one of those random increase in difficulty that is just insanity. The remainder of the other parts of the game are nowhere near as hard. Don't get me wrong. We all as kids wanted to hop into a specific Zord and battle one of Rita's monsters after they grew. But, it's not supposed to be super hard. And probably my biggest problem, more so than anything else, is that there are no recovery items in any of these Zord levels. Throughout my full 3-hour playthrough, I didn't find out one recovery item in any of the Zord battles. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you found one, congratulations, because I didn't get any. Now, they do occasionally give you like upgrades that they drop, like missiles or double gauntlet gun or like a shield, but kind of far in between when it's just so much going on the screen and it's just so much stuff shooting at you that it's just impossible to dodge it all. And then some of these parts just take so much energy from a single hit. I mean, it's just unfair. This was the only part of the game where I had to start using continues. This is the only part. I was playing normal mode at first and I dropped down to 5 continues. I was like, okay, wait a minute. I'm like 50% through this game. Like, what happens if I lose all of my continue? So I said, screw this. I went and Googled it. They were like, yeah, start all the way over. I'm like, you good? So I went straight to easy mode. Like, no, I don't. Listen, if you got that in you to keep going with that, listen, man, more power to you. I do not. Aside from that, then once you actually miraculously get through some of the Zord levels, then you eventually transform into the Megazord, which kind of blows my mind too. Like it's this Rock'em Sock'em style battle where I feel like in past Power Ranger games, it was kind of, you were fighting kind of like a ranger, except you were in your Zord. But in this one, they put you in the helmet or the cockpit, and it's just literally just you can't lose. You're just rock'em sock'eming the baddie until you fill up your energy to power up your power sword. Not a design choice I would have chosen. It's just not what I would have done. I would have taken the same format from just the normal Ranger battles and just switched it out with the Zords and just went from there. That is such a weird design choice. I mean, I get it. You want to have that differentiality and, to keep it spiced up for your gameplay, but it's not the choice that I would have went with. Maybe to end the battle, but I think I still would have just added a core battle that took skill to get to this part, and then maybe do the Rock'em Sock'em battle to get to your power sword. And even with all that, not a deal breaker. It's just something worth noting. I would definitely say that a patch needs to come out to address the difficulty spike in the Zord battles, and maybe add some actual Megazord true battles instead of the Rock'em Sock'em parts. Yeah, I will throw you a bone though on the Zord battles. Just do it with the Pink Ranger. The Pterodactyl has a clear advantage because it flies through the air, and you pretty much get to dodge a lot of the attacks that come your way. So trust me on that. On all of the Zord battles, if you're having a tough time, just go with the Pink Ranger. You cannot go wrong. Other things worth mentioning, if you unlock 3 specific knives during your regular playthrough, you get to play 3 arcade games at the juice bar. They're pretty fun, just some good time wasters. I found myself at least going for a high score a couple of times on all 3 of them, so can't go wrong there. A little extra stuff like that is always cool, especially since this is specifically a 90s game, arcade inspired, so it makes sense. Other things to mention, it does have a 2-player co-op. I was able to play a little bit with a bud from the couch. Works out. I would definitely recommend playing with a friend. Just it increases the fun factor, reminds you of your childhood 100%. I didn't really get that much into the online play. I'm not really that much interested in it, but it is there for those who want to proceed to it. I did hear some issues that you can't play with all of the Rangers on screen on the online mode just yet. They're still working on that apparently, so that is something to keep in mind. But from my experience, it really didn't bother me too much because it was just me and a buddy that played through the game, so it was a good time regardless of that. Okay, that's gonna about wrap us up, man. So closing thoughts. If you are a Power Rangers fan, yes, you need to get this game, especially if you were born in the late 80s, early 90s, and you got to experience video games during the arcade era. This game was right up your alley, even with its frustrations. It's going to be a fun time. I had an absolute blast playing through this adventure, and if they come out with DLC for it, I'm going to get it, and I'm going to play through that as well. I mean, I might as well tell y'all the truth. I'm a mega Power Rangers fan, specifically the Mighty Morphin saga. That's what I grew up on, so that's where I'm at. It has its nitpicks. It's certainly not perfect, and I'd say it doesn't even hold a candle next to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. That game was borderline perfect. So that compared to that, I mean, it is what it is. For the Power Rangers, technically their first classic arcade outing, it's okay. It could have been better. Maybe they'll try it again on like season 2 with Lord Zed and the White Ranger. That would be cool. I wouldn't mind seeing that go down, see what they can do with that. But if this is the only Power Rangers arcade game that we ever get, I'm happy that it exists. I really am. And that shit about wrap us up, man. So what I want to know now, how did you feel about it? Did you play it? Did you enjoy it? Did you finish it? Did you do that normal mode and lose all your continues and have to start all the way over? If you did, post in the comment section below. I want to know about it, man. Did you switch it to easy mode like I did and play it that way, then tell me in the comment section with that one too, man. I want to know. So as always, if you want to see more content just like this, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. You can follow me at youtube.com/smartjack79. I am also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, my friends, thank you for the support. Truly, you guys allow me to just explore my childhood, man. And I couldn't be more grateful for that, truly. Okay, I will see y'all on the next one. I'll catch y'all later.